Welcome into our overtime segment here on the all-new SportsSource.tv. We'll have some written commentary here on the site. We'll have some blogs, some vlogs, video blogs, lots of new stuff. But, of course, the show will be here each and every week, and you can get to the archives by pushing a button up there or over there, somewhere it is on this website. Thank you for joining us. This part brought to you by Allied Toyota Lift here in Knoxville. If you have a small business or a big business and you need to use 20 forklifts or just one, Allied Toyota Lift can provide them. They've been doing so for decades. They are the top supplier in East Tennessee. And here's the big deal. Let's say you only need a lift, scissor lift or forklift or a sweeper or a scrubber for a week. You don't want to buy one for a week. Rent it. Allied Toyota Lift. You can rent your lift from them. AlliedToyotaLift.com. All right. Joined by nothing but former Vols here. VFL's Daniel Hood, Jacob Gillum, Sterling Hinton, Shazan Bradley. Glad to have all you guys with us. Wanted to touch on, I was trying to find a positive stat for the defense yesterday. Tennessee was very good third down defense last year. Well, as of yesterday, Bowling Green was only 4 of 18 on third downs. They did go 3 for 3 on fourth downs, which kind of counteracts some of that. But the play on third down, at least you could look at that and say, okay, they did okay on third down when they got them to third down. And everybody just kind of says, okay, whatever.
Third down for what?
I was trying to be positive. I'm trying to throw out something positive there for you guys. Let's go to some of the Twitter questions we weren't able to get to during the show. And the first one that I got a couple of times, do you think, and I'll start with you because you know the offense. You were over there last year. How vanilla was Tennessee yesterday?
Tennessee, maybe used 10% of their game plan. We ran the same run plays over and over again. Bowling Green's defense just wasn't equipped to stop us. The times that we did get stopped on offense, we stopped ourselves. In the passing game, we ran some of the same plays. The little pass to Ethan Wolf at the tight end was there all game. There was no need to show anything else. You gained 600 yards of offense, running the same 3-4 plays. Why would you change anything like that?
All right. Do you guys think you agree?
Yeah.
Vanilla?
Incredibly vanilla. I mean, every time we got exotic on defense, we made a play. We send 5, we get a sack. We send 5, we get a pressure. We got so many more run blitz packages I know Coach Jancic has in the defense repertoire that we haven't even shown. So I'm glad we came away with a 29-point victory and getting ready for Oklahoma this week.
Yeah, see, I still think that's I don't think a 59-30 thing. I think 59-30 actually provides you more help than a 59-3 blowout would have.
Absolutely.
And again, I think part of it is you get such a young team, and these guys, first, this team has to learn how to win. They've also got to learn to live under expectations, and their expectations. So I think maybe there was a chance of people reading their own headlines a little bit. So yesterday might have been a wake-up call. Let me ask you this one. Thoughts on Mike DeBoer's debut? I mean, again, he's calling it vanilla game plan,
Yeah.
but the stuff we talked about just a tad in the show, the stuff you saw that he's added to the playbook that wasn't part of their Invajakian's offense. You like that overall?
Yeah, he had several, guard pulls and center pulls that we didn't have last year. And they were dominant in the run game. It gives a crease, and what that does is you pull your center, you pull your guard, you're chopping down linebackers, you're chopping down smaller guys who have the speed to catch them, don't have the size to stop them. So when you get these running backs, Kamara and Hurd in the second level, they're going to run wild in it. And we really kind of confused the D line that probably wasn't very good yesterday.
Go ahead.
It looks good. It looked good against someone like Bowling Green, but you start taking, I say that linebacker core we had at University. You pull that line, when you pull that nose tackle, you pull that center, you pull that guard, I'm eating him up. Plain and simple. So we'll see. This week right here will be a true test in terms of what he's doing, how well it really works.
Yeah, I think this week you're going to learn a lot more about this team against Oklahoma than you did against Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Not only because you had some extenuating circumstances with the coach not being there for an area, a unit that was already down 2 starters, but also Bowling Green, you were being vanilla on offense. Bowling Green didn't have really the horses to run with you on their defense. So this is going to be a much more telling week, obviously. Let's see here. I saw a question here and went right by it. I started to ask it, and now I've lost it.
Whoa.
I've got so many tweets coming in, I lost the question I was going to ask. Let me ask you this one. Todd Kelly, he played a little bit at the end of the first half. Any concern that this guy was in the hospital up until Thursday and it looked like they were trying to keep him out I mean, they didn't play him until late. Then they start to have troubles, and it's like, okay, we are going to use you. Get in there. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't put him out there if he's in any kind of danger at all. He had an infection this week. I'm sure he'd been cleared by the doctors and everything else. But it did look like they weren't going to use him until things started going bad. Then they put him in there. Any concerns about that?
Well, I think personally he's their point guard, meaning he's the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. Cover 1, cover 2, cover 3. Check this, look this. I think he's the computer, and he wasn't out there in order to communicate this, communicate that. You get used to certain individuals doing certain things.
Yeah.
That was his job. His job is to coordinate the fellas together, and he wasn't there yesterday. And
I'm gonna add on to that, John,
Go ahead.
if I may. The coaches probably wanted to keep him out, but I bet you it was probably a hard task to keep him out of that game.
I bet,
I mean,
yeah.
I know his father. His father was a player,
Yeah.
and it's genetically structured there,
Yeah.
baby. TK Jr. wanted to be in the fight, and he wanted to help his team. He's a great teammate more than anything. He wanted to help his team. So if he could play, you better believe they had to take his helmet away from him to keep him off that field.
Let me start with you guys down there since you played at Tennessee in the 90s and the 80s. Somebody asked me here. I mentioned it. I'm all in on Hurd and Kamara. I'm in. Those guys, I look at that talent. Like, I haven't seen that at Tennessee in a while. I mean, Hurd, how many arm tackles did he run through yesterday? He's bulked
many
up.
bodies.
He's bulked up. But he runs exactly the same as he did last year. It's really impressive that it hasn't slowed him. He's no less agile. And then, as somebody here said, that move from Kamara where it's, I'll stop,
Dead legs.
and then go. And then the speed on that long touchdown run. One of the questions was, does this tandem have the talent level, the ability to at some point be considered like a group of Garner, Hayden, Stewart, or Cobb, Webb, Henry, Lewis? Are these two, talent-wise, not yet, but are they capable of reaching that level, do you think?
I've saw many men in my life, and there was only one man I've been impressed with. It was Hurd. Hurd has muscles in his back like I've never seen. He's a freak, man.
Well, I'll co-sign what you said as far as the Kamara Hurd situation, but the people is that third running back that they forget about. Cobb Webb had Tony Thompson.
Yep.
Henry Lewis had Travis Stevens. You had Little Man in Double-A, then Charlie G comes out of nowhere, and now you got Little Man and Charlie G in Double-A. Aaron Hayden is the third back. When that third back emerges, that's going to push that tandem up to another level.
Well, John Kelly came in late. You couldn't tell a lot because it was scrub time. But I'll give the coaches credit for that one, too. I thought they got the guys out of there about the right time. Get Dormady in there. Let's take Dobbs off that field because we know. I think that Hurd got one carry with Dormady, and then Hurd came out. I don't think Kamara was in there at that point. I thought it was smart. Let's prepare the backups, but let's also protect those three guys. You're going to need them all year. So if anything happens to Dobbs, Hurd, or Kamara, I'm going to be very concerned about this team until a third guy emerges, like you said. But overall thoughts, just any closing thoughts on the 59-30 win?
I thought the O-line did a really good job, keeping the bigger guys off of those three guys. And they have to do it all year. They're going to have to keep the D linemen and the bigger linebackers off of, Hurd and Kamara and Dobbs. And I think they did a really good job of that yesterday. And they just got to continue doing that every game.
Okay. And I'll say this, the thing that I love the most is the effort these guys played with.
Yeah.
And the reason that I graded the receivers as high as I did was when you see some of the long balls we were throwing, you see Dodds making these spectacular runs. Look how hard those receivers are blocking.
Yeah.
And when you see that type of love, that type of passion, you got a special team.
And I'll say this too. Butch Jones been here 3 years. I may be forgetting one, but I don't remember a game where the team just kind of rolled their helmets out and looked blah. Under Derek Dooley, Tennessee, Kentucky in 2010, you had games where the team just didn't show up. Lane Kiffin had a game where they went down to Ole Miss and just got blitzed. It was like they didn't even show up. I haven't seen that from a Butch Jones coach team yet. They always show up and they always give their effort. Any closing thoughts from you guys on 59-30 win?
Coach Jones reminds me of Coach Majors. He's very, very, very competitive. Majors, he'll fight you right now, man. and Coach Jones is the same way. And see, in the team they have the personality of the head coach. And this is the personality we got. And these guys go out and do it. It's what it's
Personality
about.
of the head coach is exemplified. This man sitting next to me played with half a leg last year to give it for the team. It's funny, but it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in the locker room, had the privilege of going and see the movement going on during that rain delay. And those guys were working, man.
Yeah.
Those guys were working, and I think it showed when the team came back out.
And I'll just close it with that. I said it during the show. I'll say it again. For those people that are still questioning the coach, look, I don't know if he's Nick Saban or not. I'm not going to put him up there yet. At the same time, he's shown enough that we need to stop with the, well, I want to see what he can prove in the game management thing. I mean, the guy's pretty prepared.
He's proved it.
And here's the other thing. If he keeps, there's no question, the talent level now compared to what we have seen since 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, the talent level is changing to the point that even if he's not the greatest chess master in the world, if you got the best players, you're going to win some games.
Horses.
So that's important. All right. Thank you very much. We will see you next week, 11 a.m. WATE TV 6 for the Sports Source. Thanks to all these VFLs. See you next week.